Okay, here's something I want to show y'all. A lot of people have already got their mind made up, so I can't sway your thoughts in any way. But I just want you to look at this Washington Post article and the graph that they show with this. If you go to Google and you Google Washington Post climate change, you'll probably find the whole article. What's extremely odd is the article tries to say that the sky is falling and the world's big and round and it's going to blow up and everybody's got to worry about it. But the graph that they show you, which is shown right here on your screen, shows a total different story. Looking at this graph here, it covers 485 million years. From the left-hand side, 485 million years ago, to the far end right-hand side where we are today. You can see that after a warming trend, there's those first invertebrates on land. That there was a big heat spike that went right there before that, and wherever it cooled down, that's whenever we got animals to become reptiles and amphibians and so on, and come from there. If you look in the very middle part of it, it says first mammals. You see that with the line there? Some 225 million years ago, but just before that, you see that little spike that hops up and down? Just to the left of that? That's more than a 10-degree float. Although they can't find that there were many creatures that were killed off because of this effect. Which is strange when they keep trying to tell us that 1.5 degrees is going to cause the world to blow up. And they've been telling this thing, Al Gore said the world would be gone by now. That girl Greta Thunberg said the world was going to be unrecoverable by now also. It's funny how you don't hear that anymore, but they still keep going on with this idea, isn't it? But what I want to show you here is that farther to the right from first mammals is extinction of the dinosaurs, and you can see the heavy spikeness that's created around it. Looks like the top of mountains. But what's strange is, in the last, couple of million years here, we've been going through a cold trend. Exactly opposite of what they've been trying to say. Regardless of the ice age and so on, compared to what it was before, we're definitely much lower. In fact, you can see where it actually drops off the end of the scale, and we are bouncing back up. Make no bones about it, we're bouncing back up from a low point. But we were at a low point just recently. A low point of the last 485,000 years. Cold or hot. We're at a low point. Not at a high point where we're towards the end of the world and things would happen. You can't even correlate it to the fact that bad things happened before whenever it got like this. Because we're not even in the state of like this that they try to keep telling you that we are. Right? You see that, right? I've quite often showed the Younger Dryas timeline. And you can look at this, see if I can show it here. And this Younger Dryas timeline shows that the hottest that the Earth was in the last 6,000 years was 6,000 years ago. And the hottest that we were in the last 3,000 years was 3,000 years ago. And the hottest we were in the last 2,000 years was 2,000 years ago. So their narrative just falls apart, of course. But then we had the Little Ice Age. And I've done a video on this. And that's when people started really keeping records, by the way. And we had accurate thermometers and so on. Or somewhat accurate. So we were keeping the numbers. But it's giving a false impression because we started keeping the numbers around the time of the Little Ice Age. And we were going places enough that we could look at how bad that the polar ice was grown back at that point, and that it was just melting away, right? Well, the thing is that after the mini ice age, it grew back many glaciers and a lot of polar ice that wasn't there just hundreds of years ago. So if we would have started from that point, we'd have a different viewpoint on it. In fact, we can look at these things that they'll never show, and it shows the fact that, oh, you're cheating on this test. Something odd happened here, and let's say you're going through school, all the way through high school, 12th grade, and so on, and it shows that something about 7th or 8th grade happened and got everybody real cold, and 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and now we're warming up and everybody's freaking out, but we're actually cooler than any time we've been as humanity on the planet. I'm serious when I say this. When I was a kid, my brother had a subscription to a couple of magazines my parents had got him. One was National Geographic, and the other one was Life magazine. And Life magazine in the early 70s said that we were overdue the next ice age, and that we should watch out for that. And there were all these things pointing towards it. And strangely enough, within a few years, we had the world's first Earth Day, and suddenly the narrative was totally changed, because they realized they couldn't get much oomph out of that. But if they told you Chicken Little said the sky was falling, they could get you to believe all kinds of things, right? Apparently. And I've noticed through my life here that narratives that they try to put out gets embossed by people and embraced by people, but yet some of those things aren't necessarily true. Oh, like the Bible and things like that too, but this climate change situation is really foolishly stupid. Here in Texas, we're having quite a summer, but it's been a late starting summer. It's coming on real strong now, but we had a lot of rain and so on, and cool nights all the way up until June. But the narrative in this ad here and in a few other ones related to it say that June is the new July. That you're used to July and August being the dog days of summer, but now they say June is that time. And about a week and a half ago, you couldn't have got anybody to believe it, because the nights here were cool. We had from 80-degree days and so on like that, and it doesn't fit the narrative because it doesn't say what they're trying to say is happening. But I just thought I'd show this to you, this article here showing you what the Earth has been through in the last 485 million years. Oh, what the hell, let's call it 500 million years. From the time of the first invertebrates, first mammals, extinction of the dinosaurs, all the way through till now. That this is the toggle that it's gone through right here. And you can look and see where we're currently at over there on the far right in the bottom of that hill we just fell off the cliff on. And that we're in one of the coolest points we've ever been in. In fact, we are the coolest that we've been in the last 500 million years. Now, I do have to mention again that we are bouncing back up. If you can see it there, after it bottoms out on the right, it starts to go back up. Regardless of that, even after it goes back up, it's still the coolest this planet has ever been in the last 500 million years. So you might want to quit believing the things that everybody just tells you, and I would ask you just to look into it for yourself and find somebody that's got a decent head on their shoulders trying to explain it to you. I forget the man's name, but I used a portion of his video. He's like an old professor with one hair wrapped around his head, with a pocket protector on and glasses and so on, and he tries to explain this and the fact that we've been cooler than they're giving credit for, and that a lot of these studies that they're trying to come out with is based on a false assumption that we were always cooler before the little ice age. And it's not necessarily true at all. We're having the mildest warming trend after an ice age that the Earth has ever had. Isn't that strange seeing that? Especially that is the post where they're saying the sky is falling and so on. And yet if you look at the graph and don't listen to them murmuring the BS to you, you're like, well, we're the coolest that we've been in the last 485 million years. But if we go 1.5 degrees warmer, we're actually still going to be below average, people, of everything that's ever happened on this planet since before recorded life, really. Before the invertebrates on land to the far left, before mammals, before extinction of dinosaurs, and so on. So I thought I'd just share this with you. Let me know what y'all think down below. Let me know if you have anything exciting to say about it, or just want to get something off your chest. But we're going to go on to the next topic now. I don't want to go too deep into this. I could go on for hours and hours and start showing all kind of relevant information. But I think it'd be best if we just look at this one graph here and be able to tell this is what's been going on versus the narrative. And even in the face of the narrative that the article shows, they show you a graph that is totally saying something different. Let me know what you think below. We're going on to the next one. Peace.